The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
Open your eyes.
And welcome to Open Your Eye. And I've got my notes here, yes, and we are the podcast that is focused on the use of psychedelics as a medicine with two patients, joint hosts, flying through the realm of psychedelic medicines, myself, Kim Cooper, and the awesome Tarra Simpson in the house. How's it going, Tarra?
It's great, Kim. How are you?
I'm all right. It was microdose day, so big smile.
Me too. We needed it after the last 2 days, man. I tell you, I love my daughter, but when she is sick, it's just a lot more work.
God, I hear you. Family, you gotta love them even when they're sick. It's in the rule.
Yes. And she's one sick girl right now, and it's making her, shall we say, cranky.
Hubbies are the same, right? Children and adult children that are still at home, and spouses, man. They're
Absolutely.
Like just these big puddles of goo when they get sick.
Yes, I would agree with that statement. They can be unpredictable and definitely grouchy. I don't blame them. I'm probably no peach when I'm sick either. But when I'm sick, I just want to be alone. Like, just leave me alone.
Just leave
don't
me
talk
alone.
To me. Just bring me soup every once in a while and some water and leave me alone.
I hear you there. It's the world of psychedelics is truly amazing on the healing properties that these elements have. And, they have healing properties bodily as well as mentally. A lot of us are gravitating towards these items because of the mental stresses that we're under in today's world, right? And a lot of times the mental stresses can create the bodily ailments that we're suffering from. They go hand in hand. But we're seeing more and more people come out and speak about bodily healing that we don't necessarily think is associated to, the mind problems of stress that caused it and is being relieved. So therefore the body is in relief. We're seeing more other things where it's like, well, no, they're not really connected to stress. But there's a bodily issue that's being helped along the way. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're exploring the use of psychedelics for whole body treatment rather than just the mind. Interesting stuff, right?
Absolutely. I find it fascinating that, yourself with your pancreatitis, you've had flares that were uncontrollable even with cannabis, but since microdosing and macrodosing came into your life, things have improved in that department. And the same for, my migraines or, even the amount of flares I get with my fibromyalgia. Things since mushrooms in particular came into my world have changed for the better. I've had no ill side effects, nothing but benefit. So, if they can do that for us, what else can they do? And what conditions can we treat with them, right?
That's right. We're just scratching the surface of
just a little.
psychedelic medicine. And joining us tonight is our guest. This lady is awesome. I've interviewed her in the past on our sister show on Peace News and Views. That's, of course, based in the cannabis world of cannabis. And Sharon Letts is with us tonight. I have been reading what this lady has been writing for over a decade. In various magazines. She is a very educated stoner and has a byline under that name, Educated Stoner, as well. Fantastic lady in the world of cannabis that has now entered as well the world of psychedelic medicine. So without any further ado, we're going to talk to Sharon Letts tonight here on Open Your Eye. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Hey, hi Kim, hi Tarra.
Hi.
Hi. You're a fascinating lady, Sharon, and you've got quite the story that led you on the path that you're on right now. Your world and your life was headed in a very different direction, and it took a hard turn at one point. Why don't we start out by you telling us a bit of your backstory? Give us, how did you get to where we are today?
Yeah, well, I was a television producer, writer in Los Angeles. I did documentary and magazine shows. My daughter wanted to go up to Humboldt County to follow a boyfriend up to college. And so I was brought up to Humboldt County to produce a news show. And while I was there, I presented with breast cancer. I had been a stoner from the 70s, but I didn't know anything about medicine. And in Humboldt County, I got breast cancer. Because I was known, I became a lead feature writer for the Times Standard. And I was known in the community. So a long time, back to the lander, farmer, remedy maker, Pearl Moon, got wind that I had breast cancer and brought me a jar of cannabis oil and said, here, take this, your cancer will go away. Well, I was, at that point, more than 10 years in mainstream media. And, my first question was, if this works, why don't I know about it? Anyway, short story shorter, I took it. All my pharma went away in 2.5 weeks. All the cancer, which was lobular carcinoma, which is a spiderweb mass in your breast that always needs mastectomy, chemo, follow-up radiation. It's a bad one. It went away in 2.5 months. And because I already had a voice, I felt like that was a calling to write about cannabis as medicine. I've been doing patient profiles for nearly 15 years. 12 years ago is when the cancer went away. I've been doing patient profiles, writing several series for magazines all over the world with my work translated into different languages. I've self-syndicated my series of essays, Educated Stoner, because I was a stoner from the 70s, but now I'm educated. But I like to say that cannabis was my gateway drug to other beneficial plants. And I write about chamomile and all kinds of other plants that I've added. A couple of years ago, I started having schematic episodes. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but it was right after I did the 2 Moderna vaccines. And for 10 years prior to that, 11 years prior to that, I had been really, really healthy, always low blood pressure because cannabis lowers and regulates blood pressure, regulates all kinds of things in your body. All the plants do. And so I started having schematic episodes, serious vertigo episode one night. And in a year's time, I started having really high blood pressure symptoms. And do you want me to keep going with this, or you want to interject?
Keep going.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. So this is important stuff.
Anyway, so I started getting sick blood pressure issues, which I had never had before. And I went on the pharma. I had people, I've been treated for cannabis for years. I keep my blinders on, I keep my head down. I do my patient profiles. I do my good work. My body of work is extensive. Spinning, can you guys
got some glitching issues going
I'm way down in Mexico right now. So. Yeah.
I'm just gonna give our viewers a heads up that Sharon is in Mexico, so if it glitches, we apologize, but we'll we're just going to run through it and she'll be back.
I'm in the southern tip of Baja California in a very rural area, and I'm on satellite right now. But anyway, I'm at the Mulegé Brewery, which is awesome. They're letting me do this. But anyway, so I was just so sick on that pharma, and I was still waking up with incredibly high blood pressure. And I really just thought I was on my way out. I put my ducks in a row. I have, a publicist, Zoe Wilder, has a press release ready to go out when I pass. I did all kinds of things in writing. I really thought I was on my way out. And a girlfriend posted on Facebook that she was having a rock painting day. And this was my tribe, and they all smoke weed and they drink wine. And it's a fun afternoon. And I had been bedridden for just days and days and days on this pharmaceutical, and I wasn't getting any better. So I literally just said, fuck it, I'm not taking the pharma this day. I feel so bad. I'm going to take mushrooms. And I took like almost a gram. I took a good amount that day because I just thought, que sera, sera, I die, I don't care. I just want to feel better. So I took some mushrooms. I went and painted rocks. I smoked weed with my friends. By that afternoon, my points had lowered by 30, the most substantial drop in weeks and weeks, even being on the pharmaceutical. So I was like, oh my gosh. So it was totally a fluke. I did not plan this. And in 48 hours, I kept on the microdosing of about 1 gram a day. I was taking a good amount, but no hallucinogenic effects. 1 gram or less is still a microdose. You don't have the hallucinations or anything. It's just like, it feels almost like a really good high on THC. But, so in 48 hours, it was down to normal. A lot of my symptoms had subsided. And then I had a big I do a travel series called Weed Traveler for Weed World UK. And I had a West Hollywood already planned. Woody Harrelson was one of my sponsors. It was a big deal. I had, 2 weeks worth of visits to do there. And the Mommy Jane, Jessica Gonzalez from Instagram, was joining me. It was a big deal. I was hosted at Laganja Estranja's home. In Hollywood. She's, from RuPaul's drag queen things I've written about. Anyway, so we did them together. We did about 1 gram every day. She helped me get through that tour. I felt fine. I powerhoused through it. And this was only a week after I was in the ER with extremely high blood pressure. So ever since then, I've just kept on it. And we know that plants regulate all our systems. We know that they regenerate tissue. I mean, I'm just, my prayer was that my heart tissue would be strengthened and regenerated. And it kind of feels that way. I mean, I thought I was on my way out, and right now I'm doing good. And I'm still a little bit, weak in the knees with heart stuff, but it's nothing like it was before, as long as I keep on the mushrooms and my cannabis protocols and everything else. But,
that's amazing. I want to double back. I want to revisit a couple of things there. Your work in the cannabis field is extensive. There's no question about that. And I mean, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for bringing all of that information and knowledge to the masses throughout. And then, the Moderna thing and getting the shots. This is something that many people are dealing with now. The discussion about this is massive with people that are having repercussions after receiving these shots. So just the fact that you're speaking about it openly, I think, is helpful to many. I wanted to recognize that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So my little joke I say right now is, I've been writing anecdotal stories for, I die. I like Emily Dickinson poetry revisited, that people will see, it will take the word anecdotal away from them. That would be nice. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's the pharmaceuticals not helping you and not making you feel any better. That's also a very familiar story. It seems like they're ready with that prescription pad. But we really don't get a whole hell of a lot of relief. I don't hear a large proportion of people saying that it actually helps very many people, eh? Natural plants are the way to go. It's kind of funny that your
Did I lose
garden
you
weed.
guys?
Yeah. Oh, we're back. I think we're glitching a little bit there. I'm just trying to fill up the time with some commentary here. You're frozen, Sharon. You're frozen. We'll wait for a minute, and hopefully she comes back in. What I was going to say, Tarra,
Yes.
was it's kind of funny that she got her start in mainstream. Oh, there we go. She's gone. She got her start in mainstream media through gardening. I mean, all the shows that she was producing were garden shows, but it wasn't medicinal gardening. It was like flower gardening and plant
Right.
gardening.
Interesting.
And now here we are, circle, and back to the garden.
Yeah.
You know, and now she's using all these things that she was using in mainstream in a gardening show. And she's finding out, hey, this flowers that I grew in the gardening show, they actually have healing properties. And we're talking about chamomile. And I mean, all of this was part of her mainstream gardening show way back when, 20 years ago.
That's amazing. That's so cool that it's come full circle with the healing and the gardening. And yeah, that's amazing. That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. You know, even if we start off somewhere, we wind up where we need to be, I think, right? We've got Sharon.
I believe that too. Yeah.
You're back. We got you.
I'm sorry. I don't know if this will work.
It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. We'll carry on. We fill in the space while you're gone and wait for you to come back.
Yep. We have had other guests from other areas that go through the exact same thing with Wi-Fi. So.
Yeah. Mexico.
If you look on the map where I am, you'll be amazed I'm on this at all. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got Mexico, Jamaica, all over the place. Problematic Wi-Fi. We fill in the space and wait for you to come back. It's all good. We were just talking.
I do have many more things to say. So
awesome. We were just talking about how I think it's amazing. It's how you were full circle. I mean, you started off in mainstream media in a gardening show. You're gardening flowers and stuff, and now you're gardening again, and you're looking at these gardens, and you're like, oh well, that flower has medicinal properties, and this plant has but we're looking at it from different eyes rather than pretty flower. It's like, what can you do for me?
God doesn't make mistakes. I mean, when I told the energy, my joke used to be, yeah, God took this woman with a voice from Los Angeles, dropped me in Humboldt, and gave me cancer, but she stopped me in my tracks and said, no, my people say this is your path, this is your journey. You know, so yeah, at 24, I started a gardening business doing flower beds, not those kind of flowers, you know, like perennial border, English perennial borders.
Yeah, pretty.
And a real gardener for 17 years. And I was asked to do a local gardening show for local television in Southern California. I ended up self-cycling that show to 5 different counties. And I did that for 3 years, and that parlayed into, you know, producing in Los Angeles and and PBS too. I did a series for PBS. So yeah, there's no mistakes. I mean, my gardening background just parlayed into this thing with the plants. I mean, I was meant to work with plants and teach about plants. You know, it's just my calling. So, and I did do mushrooms at 15. I mean, that was a mistake. I was on a bicycle ride from Redondo to Manhattan Beach, and some guy gave them to me, didn't even say what it was. I had to walk my bicycle all the way home. It was a bad experience. I didn't know what it was. You know, it was terrible. And I thought I'd never do mushrooms again. I was only liked weed. I never did any drugs. I never liked cocaine. You know, I'm not much of a drinker. I only love weed. And but when the microdosing of mushrooms started to be talked about a couple of years ago, I suffer from hormonal depression, thyroid disease going into menopause is a double hormonal whammy, and I with suicidal ideation. In the garden, I would microdose mushrooms to reset for depression, and I swear it almost got me out of menopause altogether. So for the last 2 years, I've been producing occasionally with mushrooms for that uplift. But like cannabis and chamomile and all the other beneficial plants, they regenerate and regulate all of our systems.
Yeah.
And this is what people don't understand. They take it for one thing, but it's doing all kinds of other things. And while all these toxins have been added, what I call the non-industrial revolution, really hurt us, the plastics and the toxins, by our own hand, but we really need the plant concentrates. Even people who are vegan and vegetarian still test high in heavy metals. So
it's in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the plants.
Well, my lineage is DDT. My great-grandmother's farm, DDT. My mother talked about dancing in the rain from the biplanes. And DDT alone, they know now, stays in our bloodlines all these generations. And it was in our food and soil and water for decades. So that's just one toxin. If you read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and there's a paragraph in there that tells you how a bug dies. It's the same as, it sounds like polio. It sounds like ALS. It sounds, it's a slow paralysis until they suffocate and die. And that's what happens to us, with these toxins in a lot of these neurological disorders. So anyway, so I never, was serious about mushrooms until, and then, like I said, it was just a fluke that day. It's like, I don't want to take this pharmaceutical. I feel terrible. I'm sleeping all day. I'm missing days. I wasn't writing. I wasn't doing anything. And I've been writing against pharmaceuticals all these years, so it didn't make sense, but that peer pressure was on me, family and friends saying, you've got to, this is your heart now, you've got to do this. And it just didn't work for me. And I'm just glad that whoever's guiding me through this had the wherewithal to help me that day and say, fuck it, I'm going to do mushrooms and go paint rocks. And that's pretty much
right. That's right. We've got to listen to that inner voice, man. It's important, man. It's taking us where we need to be.
Yeah.
It's pretty much how it's been for me. I'm telling you, I didn't plan any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you would have told me in high school in the 70s, I'd be writing for High Times. I wouldn't have believed you. So yeah, it's been something else. But yeah, the mushrooms, it's been amazing. It's been a game changer for my depression, and now the cardio. I mean, the cardio has just been amazing. And, and I can't tell people what to do. I've written all these essays. I'm working on a book called Educated Stoner, which is a compilation of all these essays that I've written the past 10 years, treating myself, being my own guinea pig with plants. So I'm putting that together now, and mushrooms are going to be just another part of it, And the thing is, I could die of an aneurysm anytime. I mean, I could still have an aneurysm. I'm hoping that it's regenerating and strengthening my heart. It feels like that, but I still am weaker than I was before. And I don't know if it was the vaccine or not, but if you Google, myocarditis and the vaccine, it seems to be a thing. So, and I was totally healthy before that. I mean, so...
It's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing, and I don't want to get into it because
Absolutely.
I'm not the person to say. And for pharmaceuticals too. I mean, I have people dear in my life that are still on the pharma and are afraid to trust just the plants like I have. Yeah. But I lead by example. My patient profiles are not biased. I write in AP style for mainstream media, where you have to justify everything, you have to accredit everything. You can't state opinions. In my essays, I will give opinions, but even there, I walk that mainstream line of AP style, and I don't just say, this is what it is. You just can't. So, the first time I posted, oh my God, my blood pressure's down to normal on these mushrooms, someone, chimed in negatively, are you saying we're going to do psilocybin in my body? I go, no, I can't tell anyone. I mean, because
right. I can talk about my experience. This is what's happening.
Because dosing is everything, even in the cannabis with the THC. We as a species have upped that percentage to the heights it is today. It's a non-therapeutic dose of THC we're dealing with now from the farmers who have hybridized it over the years to get that THC up, right? So it was Lawrence Ringo in Southern Humboldt. I think I talked about him our first interview, that what he called bringing it back to the God plant. He hybridized, took him almost 15 years to hybridize back down to lower levels, and that's what Charlotte's Web in Denver was, because they crossed state lines with the plants and they couldn't say, because that's illegal. So when they talked about Charlotte's Web, on Sanjay Gupta's show Weed, that first documentary, they couldn't say, well, it actually came from this old hippie farmer in southern Humboldt. They couldn't say
they can't, because you're not allowed to export. You can't cross state lines with that plant. So
me, I'm so ballsy the way I write everything. I think I was the first one to write about Ringo, and the Stanley brothers, one of them was kind of pissed at first that I did that, but we lost Ringo and a few years ago, and I didn't want his memory to be lost. And his wife, Kat told me, it stung when they were on Sanjay Gupta's show and we're talking about this plant that, Ringo spent 15 years working on. And it stung. She said it stung. But whatever, that they want to only limit it to 10. Well, that's ridiculous, because THC is still beneficial. I mean, I think the biggest mistake we ever made was calling the plant recreational just to get it legalized, because it's still medicine.
I agree.
Even though, and the cannabis oil, it has to be a high THC to put the cancer into remission. The THC actually is part of that, all the compounds that kill the cancer cells. So the irony is we upped it up to this percentage. Now we have to, it gives them something to criticize. We created the controversy. Now we have to defend the compound. Yeah. So, it's a conundrum.
Yeah, it most definitely is.
Oh, but can I talk about when I went to the ER for the high blood pressure?
Okay,
so I was up to like
one sec. You're glitching really bad. So we're going to take a commercial break. I'm going to get you during the commercial break to leave the studio and come back in, because that seemed to clear you right up last time. And then when we come back from the commercial break, we'll get into your story about the ER.
Okay.
All right. Sound good, everybody?
Awesome.
We're going to get this show back on the road and try and get the signal cleared up a little bit to carry on our conversation here tonight with the awesome Sharon Letts. We'll be back for more in about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Hang in there.
Are you frantically pounding away on your keyboard these days to discuss your views, share your passions, teach a skill, or share a craft to the masses on social media? Podcasting is a bright light that can help you reach a diverse audience. And NOK Network can help. Even if you have no experience, NOK Network will work with you to develop your content to air on our diverse network to reach a wide audience, allowing us all to grow together. Podcasts are aired on multiple platforms simultaneously, across social media and streaming sites, live through our network. Contact us and let's chat about how we can help you develop your podcast and join the NOK team. Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at knocknetwork.com. Send us a message on our social media platforms or email us at info@noknetwork.com.
Psychedelic Tuesdays on NOK Network. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for psychedelic reporters. Bufo Alvarius is scouring the newswires for stories being reported in the mainstream media on the psychedelic front and passing them on to Hobby's Puppets and Tarra Simpson so they can bring them to you, our listeners, in this 60-minute video news podcast. Tuesday evening news. Join us for Tuesday evening news each week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all your news and information from the world of psychedelic medicine. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on our webpage, social media, and streaming sites, including YouTube and Rumble.
Are you a Northern Ontario resident? Searching for credible information on cannabis as a medicine? No Sir is here to help. Established in 2013, Northern Ontario Cannabis Education and Resources is here for you. No Sir Director Kim Cooper brings you 45 plus years experience utilizing cannabis as a medicine and is spreading the education across the North. Activism, resources, referrals, and more at No Sir. Don't be a jackass. Say no sir to cannabis propaganda with No Sir. Find us at www.nocer.ca.
Peace, news, and views on NOK Network. Patients everywhere advocating cannabis evolution with Kim Cooper and Sir Steve-O. Joint hosts interview people in the grassroots and corporate cannabis space across North America and beyond. Sit down with patients, entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, and others share their journey with this medicinal plant. So join us for Peace, News, and Views. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where all consumption is medicinal consumption on NOKnetwork.com. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on social media and streaming sites including Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Now we get back to the show.
And we're back from our medication session here on Open Your Eye, streamed live on streaming sites including Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. X is Twitch or Twitter. Twitter is X. I don't know. But we are no longer streamed on YouTube. We got kicked off YouTube.
Unreal. Over this content. I mean, come on. Really?
They banned my fucking account. All the past shows are gone. We got kicked off YouTube.
That is absolutely disgusting. YouTube, you suck. Just saying. Yeah. You know, the censorship needs to stop. We're bringing information about things that can help people. We're not giving medical advice. We're just putting it out there that this is what other people are experiencing.
Yeah. YouTube
I don't see anything wrong with that. You know?
Me neither. But all right, YouTube disagrees. So we are no longer on YouTube, but you can find our full lineup of content unedited, uncensored on Rumble. That is the platform that I push now because they're the only ones that don't mess with anything. Facebook censors a lot of our stuff. Even LinkedIn has taken a few of our things down. Rumble is the only platform that hasn't taken anything down.
That's amazing. Everyone seems to be gravitating over there from Facebook. I haven't yet, but I probably will eventually give up on Facebook and, move over to Rumble.
Rumble. It's the only place that you can do this kind of stuff uninterrupted and uncensored. So we're going to get Ive back into Sharon's story. She's going to talk to us about her visit to the ER. We're talking mushroom therapy with the one and only Sharon Letts, writer extraordinaire. Welcome back, Sharon. Let's dive right back into where we left off there. You were going into the ER.
Yeah, I've got an essay coming out on the whole mushroom and cardio experience in Weed World UK. I write a series called Educated Stoner, and they're publishing it in their February and March issue coming out soon. And then I'll put it online on my website. But so I friends, encouraged me to go to the ER in San Diego. They brought me up to do that. And, I haven't been to doctors really in 10 years. I doctor myself. I've become a kitchen apothecary, one of my brands, and I make my own meds. And the plants have seemed to have done it for me, But the high THC was spiking my blood pressure. It really was. I did a test with the cuff where I took a bong rip and tested my blood pressure, and it spiked by 30 points. So, but overall, because of the beneficial of all the compounds in the plant, it does regulate. And that's why I never went into cardiac arrest. I was being protected, and I still take my cannabis oil every night. But I presented at this ER. Let me find this again. Sharps Mary Birch. It's a private hospital. I'm on Medi-Cal in California. So the staff gathered around because my numbers were at 260 over 124, and I was sitting up talking to everyone. And the intake guy says his numbers were like that. He came in an ambulance on a stretcher, drooling.
Wow. And you were up walking and talking.
So I truly believe that the plants, protect me. And oh yeah, totally. Making jokes. I've been okay. I've just had these symptoms, and I think I'm protected because of my daily regimen of plant-based, remedies.
I'm wondering if your issues with lag down there are
so
bad
every night
Sharon.
for prevention for more than 10 years now. And but so they all gathered around expecting me to go into cardiac arrest. Right after the vaccine, when I started having the schematic episodes and had a real severe vertigo episode one night that laid me down. And what did I do? I did a cannabis supply. I took some tincture. I did a bong rip. I went to sleep. I was fine the next morning. He said that the spot in my brain that was paralysis, like the guy drooling from his mouth, but I didn't. So I can only assume it was the plant protecting me.
Sharon, I want to try something. Can I get you? Sorry, hon. We're glitching again a little bit. I think it might be bandwidth. Let's try and turn your camera off and see if that makes your voice go smoother.
And the blood test came back, and they were all things. So
I'm gonna pull her out for a second, and because we're just not getting it. I gotta see if she can turn her camera off. Then I think her audio would run smoother.
Maybe you might be right. I'm not as techy as you.
Can we hear you?
Okay.
Okay.
I missed about.
You're glitching really bad. We tried.
Are you asking me a question?
Can you?
I'm.
Can you hear me? We're gonna try and turn your camera off, and let's see if that helps your audio.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
It's a bandwidth issue. And I want the listeners to be able to at least hear your story. If we can make this work with no camera, it might increase your feed to audio. Can you stop your camera and see if your audio clears that way?
How do I take off my camera?
Should be just a spot where it says stop cam.
There we go.
There we go. All right. We're going to try it this way, and I think it might be bandwidth. And this is
probably, probably. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Let's carry on. So you went to the ER. Okay. Let's pick it up to where you walked in. Your numbers are like you should be drooling.
Okay. So my numbers were so high, I should have been in cardiac arrest.
Right.
And I wasn't. So they put me right into the MRI because he suspected stroke. The MRI showed that I had a stroke a while ago, and that I should have had ramifications. So that was about a year prior when I had the schematic episodes right after the vaccine. And then I had a severe vertigo episode one night where I just, up to all my doses of everything and went to sleep. And I woke up the next morning. I was fine. I was fatigued, but I was fine. So that must have been the stroke. We can only assume. And then because of the stroke, my blood pressure started spiking. And then it's a process of elimination to diagnose myocarditis. And if you Google the vaccine and myocarditis, there's a lot of people suffering right now with this. And a lot of people at a young age dying of heart attacks right now. So I don't want to dwell on that too much. I don't know anything. It's just a coincidence. Maybe, I don't know, because I was perfectly fine before that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 and 1 is 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but when the blood test came back, it showed high THC in my system, of course, and the doctor shut down. The ER doctor treated me after that point like I was just had probably eaten a pot brownie or something, and I was just a stoner, and that's why my blood pressure was up. He really missed his learning moment. I did not tell him who I was because he was so arrogant. I ended up filing a complaint with the hospital because I said, I'm a cannabis patient. Do you know about cannabis as medicine? To which he replied, oh yeah, I know everything about marijuana because I work in the ER. And that was, he was just so arrogant. And I thought, well, okay, so your learning experience is when someone eats a pot brownie and gets too high, that's how you learn. So yeah, he was very closed. The Nurses of America, the National Nursing Association or something in America are on board for cannabis. A lot of the doctors are and aren't. They're not school about how plants work with our bodies. When the pharmaceutical industry began in the late 1930s in the U.S., apothecary was disrespect. I write about it extensively. I even name who the doctor is in the story, and the hospital and everything, because it's just sad. I've presented to so many hospitals here in Mexico and in the States. I'm always very open about what I'm doing. I want them to learn. I call it evangelizing the plant, right? From our mouths to their ears. Even if they don't believe, they hear it. And,
that's right. You're planting the seed. That seed will grow.
So I've had a lot of excellent teaching moments with doctors who are very open, and there's a lot of doctors out there that are open and that know. But, yeah. So it was a disappointing experience at the ER, and they sent me home with all that pharma that didn't do anything anyway. So
yeah, well, of course,
it was only the mushrooms that helped.
Yeah. Well, of course. But thank God for painting rocks.
Thank God for my tribe, right? Go and have fun. Yeah, it was just such a fluke. I mean, I had never expected this to be like this. And again, like I said, I could still have an aneurysm at any time. I could go. But I'm not as symptomatic as I was before. I'm not 100%, I'm not as healthy as I was before. I don't feel that, but I'm getting older too. I'm 65 in April. I'm in very good shape for my age overall anyway. I still work in the garden almost every day. I'm an avid gardener still. And I do a lot of hard work in the garden for my age. A couple of weeks ago, my heart was hurting. I overdid it and I went and laid down. I thought maybe I might be gone that night, but here I am. So I guess God's not done with me yet.
You still have a purpose to fulfill, my dear. You're not going anywhere yet.
Evidently.
Yeah. I'm going with that. Absolutely, 100%. I adore talking to you. And I really do. You're a wealth of information, and your point of view on this is so wide and so vast. you have been on both sides of the fence as a non-consumer and just as a sort of casual recreational consumer, and then sort of getting plunged into this medical portion with your past history on just regular gardening of flowers, then evolving and blooming into this life that you lead today is just amazing.
It really is something, it's I do like to believe in God, and I think there's a plan for all of us. I think we each have this path, and it depends on what you make of your life, and you recognize the signs, and I'm just grateful that I'm open, that I have an open mind, and then I've been led down the garden path. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, we're grateful to have you here, and you're this mushroom therapy. I am a firm believer there are physical healing attributes taking place. It's not just mental, mental associated, that's causing these bodily healings. Whole plant remedy, no matter what the plant or fungi, it's having an overall effect over our entire being, not just one part.
And if I may say, they talk about putting it on different schedules. It shouldn't be on the schedule at all.
Yes.
The thing is, the pharmaceutical industry is built around the FDA and the patenting of formulations. You cannot patent the whole plant. So what they'll do is they'll break it all down. They'll say, take the CBN just to sleep. Well, the thing is, if you take the whole plant, it addresses your whole body. That's the thing. Yeah. And I know where it's going. It's going to be torn apart. It's going to be patented formulations. You're going to have a prescription from a doctor. It's going to be sucked into the pharmaceutical engine. It will be. But the saving grace is the traditional market, people sharing plants between people, that's always going to still be. I've been illegally healed working in mainstream media into this space for more than, more than 10 years now, 12 years now, illegally healed because I write full time for the cannabis publishing space and I don't make the money. I can't afford, it's ironic. I write internationally on cannabis is medicine, and I cannot afford to buy things that are expensive.
I know.
Right? That's ironic. It's the irony. And so I'm illegally healed. I've come to the, when I crossed over from mainstream, I was all about, legalize it and ordinances and no. There's always going to be people who grow it themselves, who are breaking these stupid laws. The laws are not set up right anywhere, nowhere. As long as we're not acknowledging this plant for what it really is, a superfood that addresses all of our biological systems and the fungus too.
Yeah.
As long as there's people out there that are going to acknowledge it and there's people that aren't, and it's just going to be the way it is, and I am illegally healed. I don't do, it's just the way it is.
And you're continuing to be illegally healed now, utilizing fungi therapy as part of your plant healing therapy and your regimen.
Right.
I mean, all along the way, all natural.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm really glad that the FDA just said that the spores are legal to sell, that they are not psychoactive yet. So Sisters of the Valley provided me with a lot of the mushrooms I'm still taking, and they were providing kits with the spores. So I'm hoping that they're going to start doing that again too.
Yes, because we are allowed to buy, sell, trade the spores. They are not illegal. It's not until you grow them out that you cross over into the realm of illegal.
Because I bought one of the bags Sisters of the Valley sells, and I grew my own batch, and it was just awesome. It was so rewarding and so nice to, grow it yourself. But people don't even grow their own food anymore. They don't know how to cook. They're eating empty foods. But there's still a percentage of us out there who still believe in the garden, who still cook our own food and grow our food and now make our medicine. So, there's going to be a little bit of everything always.
Yeah, 100%, Sharon. I'm with you. If it's not grown in my garden, it's grown in one of my neighbor's gardens.
Right.
eating it.
Oh no. The medical market in California worked perfectly. I mean, we didn't have ordinances in place, and people were still going to federal prison, which sucked. But there was no distribution problems like there are now. All the farmers were making money. You know, the legal process really screwed everybody.
Well, they flooded the market. They tanked the price.
No. I have to disagree strongly with that.
I think the legal market did.
No. The problem is there aren't enough distribution points. There aren't enough safe access points. And here's an example. In my Weed Traveler series, I just covered the California Heartland, which, they call it purple, but it's pink. It's a very conservative, huge region in California.
Yeah.
And just like in Orange County in Southern California and San Bernardino and Riverside counties and all these counties through the heartland of California, no access. They ban dispensaries. It's like pulling teeth to get one of them anywhere. And so if you don't have your places to put it, that's the problem. That's the crux of the problem. Yeah. And, because Humboldt County alone, there was an estimated 15,000 small farmers in the medical market when legalization happened. I think they've only given out 2,500 licenses in all of California. I mean, you do the math, right? And so there aren't enough. It's not that they're growing too much. They're growing the same amounts they did before. There's no place to put it. There's no place to put it. And when I do my Weed Traveler series, a big part of every story is not just safe access and retail access, but lounges and places to sit and smoke. I mean, the places that are allowing retail spaces, there's no place to smoke. So yeah, you're going to be out by the trash can. My trash can sessions are a big thing now when I go on the road. I totally shoot them and make little videos and everything, because here I am, a cannabis patient, internationally known, and I'm fucking sitting by a trash can. So this is the problem.
Yeah.
There's not enough safe access. I don't blame the farmers for overgrowing. I don't blame anything else. I blame the bad laws and the conservative neighborhoods that say not in my neighborhood, but their delivery services are thriving. And that is the ultimate hypocrisy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did a ride along in the city of San Diego because they've banned, safe access and all kinds of things. And we were in good neighborhoods. We were delivering to lawyers and doctors, and give me a fucking break. Right? Oh, it's infuriating. The not in my neighborhood is infuriating, because if there's not safe access, the farmers are going to suffer. It always goes back to them. Always.
Yeah. And here it's the complete opposite. They outlawed our farmers. They took all the farmers away. There are no more grassroots farmers. The ones that are left are underground and hiding again.
Good for them. I say make your living. Good for them. I say make your living. A lot of the legacy farmers up in Humboldt County still have one foot in and we don't call it the black market anymore. We don't call it the illicit market. We're calling it the traditional market.
Yeah, traditional grassroots legacy. Those are three terms that I've heard.
I say make your living. Do your healing, be healed, make your living any way you can.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they corporatized it and they flooded our market here in Canada with really shit corporate weed.
Nothing is set up right. Nothing's set up right.
No,
it's horrible. It's just fucking horrible. But we are almost out of time, Sharon. Turn your camera on for this last little bit. Let's do our shout out time. That did work. You streamed much better with your audio, so we got your story out there. So that's a good thing. Let's go to shout out time. All right, this is a good spot for you to plug all your sites. Go for it.
Oh, okay. So follow me on Instagram. I'm pushing up to 6,000 now. I think I have a shadow ban, but I'm trying to work on a book. I'm finishing my book, Educated Stoner. I need a book deal, and the publicist and the literary agent tells me I need more followers. So please follow me on Instagram. I'm also on formerly known as Twitter. and X or whatever it is. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook. I've got like 15 fan pages to all my series on Facebook. So please follow me. And all my work from all these sites all over the world are on my website, SharonLetts.com. You can read the body of my work on my website.
Awesome. And
Amazing.
your whole story is there. It's a fabulous website, Sharon. It's very concise and well put together, I must say. I've seen a lot of people's websites on this show, and some of them are just, oh my God, they're just a mess. But yours is very good.
Thank you. Well, I built it myself, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, my dear. It's a pleasure having you on. I'm sorry we got you to kill your camera, but that did work. Your voice streamed well after that. So we got your story out. That's the important thing, right? Absolutely, 100%.
Well, I love you guys love you so much. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your tenacity and your consistency all these years and your podcast. It's been awesome.
Back at you, my friend. Back at you. Final thoughts, Tarra, for you?
I love that, we had this opportunity to bring some awareness to, what's going on over this last few years with these health issues that people are now suffering because of pharma's, shall we say, negligence to inform people with informed consent.
It's a conundrum. It's a conundrum. I don't blame anybody. It's just a mess. But as long as you can be led back into the garden, you're going to be okay.
Right. And hopefully that awareness will lead some people back into the garden, right? That there is hope out there for those people that are suffering with the same condition, right? You're using plant medicine versus the pharmaceuticals that didn't work for your condition.
Yeah.
Why didn't work?
Keeping up with high blood pressure. How does that happen?
Right. It also brings some awareness to the fact that even with a heart condition, you're able to take mushrooms. That was actually something that a lot of patients ask me is, I have a heart condition. Can I take mushrooms?
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe I should ask my doctor. I'm like, first of all, don't ask your doctor.
No. Your doctor doesn't know.
Second of all, I do know of another patient who has heart issues who uses mushrooms safely. And now I know yet another who is having other heart issues.
Microdose is the key. Microdose.
Absolutely.
I take the smallest amount. I probably take 1/4 gram every day.
Right.
But I have to do it every day. And I was doing it 2 days a week, and then breaking like they suggest. No, for this serious issue, it's every day I have to.
Every day.
And you're taking it safely, even with a heart condition. So that's like fantastic.
And I'm taking my chamomile concentrate and my cannabis oil, and I do all kinds of plants. I do teas. There's a posting I just made because I felt like I was getting a cold yesterday, and so I posted all the remedies I do. I lined them all up. There's a little reel right now on my Instagram and Facebook. All the stuff I do, the teas I make, and not just my hashtag is not just cannabis.
Not just
medicine in general. Absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fantastic discussion here tonight on Open Your Eye. Thank you once again to Sharon Letts for joining us tonight on our psychedelic focus podcast, and to my joint host, Tarra Simpson, for joining us here, and as well as to all of our listeners out there, you, our listeners, for joining us here each and every week on our NOK Network podcast, where we explore the world of psychedelic medicines from plant, fungi, and animals, and talk about the realm of possibilities therein. We hope we have opened the doors to your curiosity for you to go out there and find out more for yourself, and just maybe open your eye. We will be back again next week with another very special guest here on the NOK Network. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Buenas noches.
Open your eyes.